Hello and welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Narc TV. We're at the Georgian Theatre in a midgie-filled Stockton, one of the oldest Georgian theatres in the UK, we'll just say the world, and it was established in 1766.
So close. Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly made it. That took a
Tried.
few rehearsals that long, but nearly.
I've heard
Closest we
hamstring
got.
as well, but it's fine. It's fine.
Coming up first on today's episode, we have a thrilling performance from Billingham's lo-fi garage punks, Mouses.
Lullaby, two dead alibis. We sing hush-a-bar, baby, when the outbreak citizens, typo villages, insignificant now. My sick lullaby, two dead alibis. We sing hush-a-bar, baby, when the outbreak citizens, typo villages, insignificant. Oh, fuck you when I see red again. Fuck you, Edison. Thank you for your time. Living in the air, we're structures and hell, a burning skeleton, outside evidence, exoskeleton, hanging from the flaming shares of a culture dread. Insecurity, do you wanna be? When I see you red again, fuck you, Edison. Thank you for your time. Family, the infrastructure is in hell. The hidden terrorism, outside evidence, exoskeleton, hanging from the burning shares of a culture dread. Insecurity, be where you wanna be. I see you red again, fuck you, Edison. Thank you for your time. Family, the infrastructure is in hell. Burning kerosene, outside evidence, exoskeleton, hanging from the burning shares of a culture dread. Insecurity, be where you wanna be. Be where you wanna be. Be where you wanna be. Just be where you wanna be.
Been going for nearly 8 years now.
Unbelievable.
Nearly 8 years. We started at the end of 2013, so October-ish time, I think. So, yeah, like 7.5 years now.
Yeah, and how have you progressed, would you say?
I think we've maybe got like closer to what we envisioned in the first place, probably, I would hope.
Yeah.
But probably just like technically, we've got like everything's more technically difficult than it used to be, just because we've got slightly better at playing our own instruments.
Yeah, I mean,
It's probably the only thing really.
don't let people who paid money 7 years ago know that. They might be a bit annoyed, like, oh, well,
Oh, no.
they're just giving us any old rubbish then,
We're
but
trying our best.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
that's
what, that's what counts.
effort,
Yeah, the effort was there. The
Mhm.
ability was just lacking.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's one of those. Yeah, and as well, it makes I can't believe we've been going that long. It makes me feel old. Do you ever see those memes like, oh, this will make you feel old? Like this someone's 30 odd years old that you grew up as watching on a TV or something. But yeah, I feel dead old now. So yeah, brilliant. Okay, the band. Oh, yeah, of course, as a band, don't you? A duo. Yeah,
We've got ourselves a band.
yeah, that's alright. Not a musical duo like Simon Garfunkel. Two sides answer. Okay, the band are champions of egalitarianism in the music industry. In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges regarding inequality in the industry that need to be addressed?
Suppose just opportunities
Mm-hmm.
to more diverse range of people. I think it's just been like very taken over by a certain type of person for so long that it is a difficult like place to get into if you're like a minority group of some sort, or identify as female, or however. Like there's just like so many barriers basically. It's just trying to like break them down basically. I would say.
Any ideas of how? What? Go on, give us some.
I think
If you're an industry bigwig, you're like, well, go on, what should we do? What? You can see him smoking a cigar. He's sat watching this Now TV. He's like, oh, what do you want us to do then? What would you?
I think we've seen like programs in like Scotland and parts of the country where they like nurture like different types of music or different people to like make music from like a young age, like that school in Scotland and stuff where like, so you like maybe start there with like young people as well, because I don't know, it's like to form those to encourage people to form those bands and like have the voice heard without being scared, or like maybe like having more safe spaces and stuff. It's kind of like a shame you need safe spaces for people to feel comfortable to like make music or like to feel represented and stuff. So hopefully just by like having more of that stuff out there will make like Monsterful and stuff that we try to do. So people feel comfortable.
I think it's quite a long process that we're only starting to get to the beginning of, really.
Do you think it is being like it's in the wheels are in motion?
Yeah, absolutely. And like there's obviously like loads of organisations, loads of venues around the country like doing really cool stuff. There's loads of bands like championing like good things and giving opportunities to people that would have usually not had them. But I think it's just like it needs a massive cultural change, and I think like until you start giving opportunities to people that aren't used to having those sorts of opportunities, then they'll go on to make music, do cool things, and inspire other people like them that would then like listen to a band or see a band on something, or like an artist doing something and be like, oh, they're like me, they look like me, that I can do that. Yeah. It's like I think it's going to take a long time, personally, like to get to somewhere where like we do have a diverse music industry and that there aren't as many problems as there are now. But not saying that you can't do things to help try and speed up the process, but I do think it's a cultural difference more than anything, and it's going to take a long time to actually get somewhere.
Keep going. Yeah, keep the awareness going.
Yeah. Keep putting pressure on the sort of more like big festivals and mainstream events and stuff, I think, to like just be more diverse. So it's not like such an underground thing, hopefully.
They say the sounds are never here. The sugar comes a fear of a lost potential. And I just hope that I could never feel the way I made you feel. I see the fire in your eyes, message at the heart of this habitually. They try to understand the power that he hails on us. I get this feeling and it's on the tip of my tongue. But that life is more important when it's gone. They say heaven holds a place for everyone. Well, you must be dreaming. I dry the tears in my eyes, nothing to self-essential. But I love you, and I feel ashamed of what I've done. Wow! Get this feeling, and it's on the tip of my tongue. Sometimes life is more important when it's gone. Well, I say heaven holds a place for everyone. They must be dreaming.
You're a thriving DIY act, also I've been told, or I mean, I hope you see yourselves as that. With many strings to your bow. I mean, there's the promotional aspect, the photography, I don't know why I'm trying to think of it, I've got it here, production, No Borders magazine, and you do it all under the Art Mouse label. How important is it to diversify with different creative outlets?
I think it's massively important. especially even just like to take it immediately in a financial direction, but just like there's just not as much money in the music industry like for bands and artists anymore as there used to be, and I think like it's really important to have other like strings to your bow to actually do other stuff to make money. I know, like from my point of view with like doing all the things like that, it's all just sort of grown from like stuff we've done as a band. I suppose I suppose like because of money in a sense, where like I didn't really shoot music videos or make like films and stuff like that until we needed to make a music video, and it was just like, well, we've got no money to make a music video,
So
I'll have a go. Like I did do like film studies and media studies and so I in college a long time ago, so I had like some stuff that I could like lean on, and I had a bit of an idea what I was doing. But I think it's every single like one of those that you named with like graphic design and illustration and stuff like that, it's all just been like, oh, we need like a logo design, we don't have any money, I'll just have a go, and I've just like built it from that.
Do you find that in time, obviously, your skill set gets better?
Yeah, I think it's the same as anything. Like, well, when we were saying about like being a band, like obviously 8 years ago, we were sort of doing the same thing we're doing now, but just not like to say, oh, we're really good now.
We're still learning.
Not to say obviously you always learn. Like,
Yeah.
but I'd like to hope we've got a bit better than 8 years ago.
Well, you've told everyone at home that they have.
But like, obviously, like it naturally happens, doesn't it? The more you do something, the better you get at it.
And do you find it ever sort of inspires some of your, like for example, the No Borders magazine that you do, that you do ever sort of write that, which is about pretty much everything, mental health, equality, everything that's important, I think, that you say, you say on the magazine. But do you find that the stuff you might write about or read about in that, when you put it together, does that influence your music, or does the graphic side, the visual side, the film side, does any have a sort of like does it influence the musical side of things?
Yeah, I think so. Like pretty much like that ethos that surrounds like No Borders, and just like giving voice to people that don't usually have a voice, standing up for people that can't stand up themselves all the time and haven't got like a voice in certain places in the world, and like especially in the music industry. I think that's always just like driven everything that we've done.
Yeah,
really.
that's the like ethos of the band. You have a new album on the horizon. What, if anything, because you might be shrouding it in mystery, can you tell us about that?
Probably quite a bit, I suppose, because I feel like we've been saying that this album's been coming for
a couple of years.
But I mean, obviously, like COVID and lockdowns and stuff haven't helped with that. The fact that I think the last year and a half has just been like a write-off anyway. But it's hopefully coming this year. We recorded it. I tell you when did we record it?
It was a couple of years ago.
We recorded it 3 years
Can you
ago.
remember? This is so long ago.
Remember.
What album?
But the songs have been playing for a while, so like we
Yeah.
to like get out. So like we are really looking forward to releasing it, because it's like 5 years I think since the first album.
5
It's
years since the first
2016, so
album.
yeah, it's like we need to get some out.
Everything you
say
say.
is a hiatus. Isn't it?
The back.
Unintentional hiatus.
Yeah, the revival. This is a revival interview. Yeah. Oh god, that's made me feel even old then. That's how long it was.
2016,
Yeah.
first album was, yeah.
Unbelievable. And what are some of the themes in this new album? Can you say anything about that? Or sounds, or changes of direction, or the new synth? You might just get off the kit and get the old guitar on the synth project. I don't know.
There's some like, we introduced some new things, don't we? There's like there's an acoustic song, there's some sax on it, there's I said that, there's about 3.5 seconds of sax.
So, some people at home are saying that's
But
enough.
you can look forward to that. I think we've tried to like experiment a bit more with different things.
Like we said before, like the first album was a bit more like, we were definitely limited by just not being, well, you could like play guitar, but I'd understand playing drums and stuff. So I think we really enjoyed writing this one and like pushing ourselves a bit more and thinking more like how it would work live and as an album. So it's been fun putting it together.
Yeah, I think we've like crafted it a bit like better than the first one, or at least put more effort into doing it. Because the first album was basically just our set that we'd been playing for however many years, just like as a band, like touring around and stuff. And we just like went into a room and essentially just recorded a set and then just overdubbed a few bits and pieces, but we didn't really think of how it was going to work as an album or anything.
Yeah.
But I think we've put a bit more effort into this time.
religion, you know. We kick and scream, they don't care. Georgie wrote the book of love, but he left the pages bare. Don't take relevance in organized religion, you know. We kick and scream, they don't care. Georgie wrote the book of love, but he left the pages bare. Well, don't see relevance in organized religion, you know. We kick and scream, they don't care. Georgie wrote the book of love, but he left the pages bare. Well, don't seek relevance in organized religion, you know. We kick and scream, but they don't care. Georgie wrote the book of love, but he left the pages bare. Well, don't seek relevance in organized religion, you know. We kick and scream, but they don't care. Georgie wrote the book of love, but he left the pages bare. Well, don't seek relevance in organized religion, you know. We kick and scream, but they don't care. Georgie wrote the book of love, but he left the pages bare. Don't seek relevance in organized religion, you know.
recovered from all that musical mayhem from the magnificent Mouses?
Coming up next at the Forum Music Centre in Darlington, we have the fabulous future folk of Me Lost Me. Yeah. cinematic feel to it. If your music was a soundtrack to a film, what would it be and why?
I feel like I haven't seen that many films, but the films I have seen are all very I really like sort of sci-fi type stuff. So I imagine it would be maybe maybe Star Trek would be fun, or something where you know how on the early episodes of Star Trek where they're all really constantly referencing the past. I feel like I would like it to be, so it's got the folk thing, they're referencing back, but also yeah,
like a
futuristic.
montage.
Yeah, like a sort of slow moving ominous synthy creep and then some folk stuff coming in. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Some sci-fi thing maybe.
Good. And can you tell us a bit more about how you approach your writing? Where do your ideas come from?
They come from all kinds of places, to be honest. Like, it really depends on how I'm deciding to sit down and write. Like, sometimes I'll start with like the music side first, and then that influences like what the words are kind of going to be about. So you know, if there's a specific atmosphere that I've kind of created with the sound, I'm like, oh, where is this and what is happening in this place? It tends to be more like place-based. But if I'm starting with the words, it might just be like something that I've seen that day, or like something really, you know, insignificant, or like something on the news. It can be totally anything, really. Yeah.
And you're an artist by sort of trade, aren't you? So like, how much does art and your inspiration come from the art world?
I think a lot of it does. Like, I'm really inspired by like reading and visual art and stuff, but also like, I guess that kind of teaches you to be on the lookout for inspiration like all the time. I think that's like the main thing I take from that, is just like everything is potentially inspiring, like no matter what. Like, so I guess it's like, oh, this one thing I saw like 3 days ago, maybe I'll write a song about that. Or
there's a story to be found around every corner.
I think that's definitely like something that comes from the art side, is like constantly switched on and looking for like little bits.
Down by
So I started with just a loop pedal, was the first thing I kind of had, and I was singing into that in a kind of more like performance arty sort of context, and making sound art stuff with that. And then I sort of slowly started gathering like the vocal effects pedals, and then I started writing using software, which totally changed my sound and made it more complicated. So then I was like, oh, I need more equipment. I need like a synth on the stage, and I need like a sampler that's got more complicated things happening, because I couldn't just like do it all with my voice. And so it was kind of a bit of both, like slowly gathering things, and then once I started getting over the top with software, it just got more.
Every little bit, extra stuff. So do you see it continually evolving then, I suppose, if the more you're writing and the more sounds you're finding? Do you think it will change?
Yeah, I think it will, definitely. I think one of the main issues is that I can't just like carry everything, so that's quite nice in a way. It's like limiting. It means I can't buy like hundreds of big synths or anything. Like I can't spend all my money on keys and stuff, because like I know that even if I did, I won't be able to carry them. So it's, hopefully I'll be able to rein it into what I can fit in a backpack. But I would also like to play with more of the musicians as well, which I've done bits and bobs of and really liked it. So that's a good way of, bringing in more sounds.
Get them to bring the instruments so you don't have to carry them in the backpack.
Exactly, they can carry their own instruments.
Extra fun. And in terms of your songwriting, I really like how you can kind of take really big ideas but set the songs in really small settings. So like Worm Unearthed is a good example, I think. It's looking at gentrification and changing landscapes, but from the view of a worm who's been turfed out of his house. So how do you kind of arrive at those juxtapositions? How do you kind of get to that sort of story?
I'm not sure that I have a specific like method for it. I think I've always been drawn to stuff like art and music and stuff that talks about like really huge things but is like really accessible and like an entry point, like, and so I guess I just emulate the stuff that I like. So I'm like, oh, I know that, I like to listen to stuff and think about stuff and read books as well that talk about huge grand things, but you don't necessarily have to notice. Like it could just be a song about a worm and that's like fine. Do you know, like I like that it can be appreciated on different levels. Not sure how it forms specifically, but
it's good to be ambiguous sometimes, I guess. You don't always want it to be like really clear cut. And you sort of touched on it, but as part of your Sage Gateshead residency, you are creating an audio-visual project in the form of a website and lots of really interesting, unusual stuff. I had a play with it and I loved it. It was really fun. It sort of touches on subjects around nature and the local landscape and rhythms in art and music and things like that. And there's subjects you refer to quite a lot in your work. Why do these things interest you? What is it that piques your interest?
I think like with that particular project, like one of the things I wanted to do was try and write more optimistically and write more, because a lot of my music is like about really depressing big things, and even just like for myself, I wanted to try and like have some more positivity and stuff. And as I've been writing, like I realized the things that really bring me that joy and that positivity is like nature and it's the landscape and it's walking, and it's like those are what brings me joy, and those are what I imagine like a more positive future where like, socially everything's like, all lovely and happy. Like I imagine those I imagine nature being an important part of that society, and I imagine, that all linking up. So I guess it's writing about things that are joyful for me, and that's really fun.
What is this outside my door? The thing that wasn't there before. Dirt that moved from there to here to there. Oh, nothing. Worms that breathe the air, breathe the air. What is this outside my door? The thing that wasn't there before. The dirt that moved from there to here to there. Oh, nothing. Worms that breathe the air, breathe the air. me tight. This landscape is changing so fast, I don't know what's mine. With your high visibility, give me some stability tonight. This landscape is changing so fast, I don't know what's mine. With your high visibility, give me some stability tonight. I am a worm on earth, cover me up in